In University Park, Pennsylvania, it's the game. Penn State versus Pitt. Hello again, everybody. I'm Stan Savran, along with my partner, George Paterno. Welcome to Penn State football on TCS. Pitt with a record of 9-1 headed to the Cotton Bowl in SMU. Penn State with a record of 9-1 headed to the Sugar Bowl in Georgia. The national championship very much at stake this afternoon. George, so much has been talked about and said and written about both teams' passing games. How about the running games? That may be the key factor offensively.
They very well could be, Stan. I think what's going to happen today, both teams will neutralize the other team's passing games. The only thing that should be effective today passing is short stuff to the tight end and the backs coming out of the backfield. I think Penn State has an edge with the running backs of Warner and Williams, and that certainly could be the deciding factor.
And as always in any football game, especially a big one, the kicking games.
Specialty teams usually are the margin of victory when two great teams get together, and I see no reason why that shouldn't happen today.
Just like you, we've been waiting all year long for this one. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Penn State versus Pitt. We'll be back in a moment.
We win the toss, take the ball.
An overfull crowd of nearly 85,000 fans at Beaver Stadium on hand to watch the 5th-ranked Pitt Panthers 9-1 against the 2nd-ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State, also with a record of 9-1. It's 40 degrees in State College. Wind will be out of the south-southwest, meaning left to right at 7 to 14 miles an hour, perhaps not as bad as we thought. Penn State has won the toss. They have elected to receive. George, any final thoughts?
I just noticed that Joe Paterno took the ball. He's worried about bad weather coming down the pike later and wants to get that football.
The weather forecast does call for rain and or snow flurries later on in the afternoon. They didn't give a specific time, though maybe with the weather forecast and bad weather on the way, wanted to get on the board early and get the board. Again, the wind from 7 to 14 miles an hour. Pitt will have the wind in the first quarter. There you see Eric Schubert set to tee it up for the Pitt Panthers. Back deep for Penn State. Penn State winning the toss and electing to receive. Kevin Bow on the near side. Tony Mumford on the far side. Eric Schubert kicks it. It is deep. Bow will take it there, touchdown. And the touchback will take the ball out to the 20-yard line. Todd Blackledge at quarterback. Kurt Warner, the tailback, playing his final home game at Beaver Stadium. John Williams, the junior fullback. Kenny Jackson, leading receiver on Penn State's club this year. Greg Garrity, the split end. Mike McCloskey lines up at tight end, and across the front, Ron Heller, Pete Spiros, Mark Battaglia, Dick McGinnis, and Bill Kontz. First down and 10 yards to go. Penn State, their own 20-yard line. First play from scrimmage, Penn State coming out in a wing left. First down and 10. Williams trips and falls and gets back to the line of scrimmage. J.C. Pelusi, the middle guard, made the tackle. Ron Heller, Pete Spiros across the front with Mark Battaglia at center. Dick McGinnis from State College. Bill Kontz, the right tackle from Bell Vernon. And Mike McCloskey, the tight end. Play loses a couple of feet. Blackledge actually tripped on the exchange. So it'll be second down, a little bit more than 10 yards to go. Wing right this time with Warner on a wing. Blackledge will go back to throw. Out of the pocket, throws the screen. Looking for a block with Williams. He's got one to the 30 and across the 30 and out to the 35-yard line. Todd Blackledge on the screen pass, hitting John Williams.
For Penn State, they had big good timing on the play. Takes it upfield. Good block by Spirit coming across. Gets to the outside. Warner leads up. First down, Penn State.
It's a gain of 13 yards. Penn State's initial first down of the game. First down and 10 yards to go. Ball on the far side hash mark. Kurt Warner cutting up across the 35 and out to the 38-yard line. Kurt Warner picking his way nicely off right tackle for a 5-yard gain. Yogi Jones, the leading tackler on Pitt's defense, makes the stop, but not before Warner gets 5. Across the front for Pitt, Michael Brooks, Dave Pizzoli, J.C. Pelusi, the nose guard, Bill Moss, and Al Wenglikowski, right defensive end. Grayneck and Jones, the linebackers. Hill, Short, Flynn, Lewis in the defensive secondary. 2nd down and 5, Penn State. Blackledge, play fake, and back to throw. Out in the flat, incomplete. Intended for John Williams. Not a well-thrown ball. Pelusi, moving laterally down the line of scrimmage, had the coverage on Williams.
And number 50, Brooks, the defensive end, he was out there also. Penn State and Pitt play two different types of defense. Pitt's much more aggressive, and Penn State plays a little bit more cautiously, keeping the ball in front of him. Passing down coming up. Let's see if Pitt puts the blitz on.
Pitt has 50 sacks in 10 games. That is an astounding figure. They had 10 of them against Tony Eason in Illinois. 3rd down and 5 yards to go. Blackledge, the rush is on. He looks, throws over the middle, and is caught by Williams. Gets to the outside. He's got a blocker ahead. He's to the 40 and knocked out of bounds inside the 40 at the 37-yard line. Rich Grayneck finally knocked him out of bounds, but Todd Blackledge on the scramble hits Williams for a big gain.
Well, Stan, they did put the blitz on. They blitzed the 2 inside linebackers. Todd Blackledge rolled out of the pocket to his left, found Jonathan Williams on the outlet pass over the middle. Williams cuts to the outside, trying to pick up his blockers. Turns it into a big 1st down.
The gain is 25 yards. The Lions at the Pitt 37, 1st down and 10. Warner on a wing right. Draw play, Williams up the middle, inside the 35 and down to the 33-yard line. Delay draw, Dave Pizzoli, left defensive tackle, made the stop. It is a gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
And Penn State is utilizing Jonathan Williams today more than they've had in the past, using Kurt Warner as a decoy. We said Williams might be a significant factor in this game. Williams
came into the game, George, with 551 yards rushing and an excellent per carry average of 5.3, actually a little bit better than Kurt Warner's. 2nd down and 6. Penn State at the Pitt 33. Slot to the right, Jackson left, and Garrity right. Blackledge looking, throwing the home run ball, and it is intercepted in the end zone. Pete Short coming up with the interception. Blackledge looking deep and Short with the interception.
Well, Todd forces his ball. He was looking for Mike McCloskey, number 81, the tight end. But McCloskey and Jackson are in the same area. As you'll see, Jackson coming off to the right of your screen. It was excellent pass defense by Pitt. Nice interception by Short, number 29.
Pete Short is a senior, 6'2", 204, from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. He is a senior. Came across, playing his strong safety position. Nicely picked it off. So the first turnover of the game is given to Penn State. Here come the Panthers. 1st down and 10 at their own 20. Joe McCall and Brian Thomas in the backfield. It's Thomas, got a big hole across the 25 and out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Dan Marino, the senior quarterback. Joe McCall lining up at fullback. Brian Thomas, who just carried the ball for 11 and a 1st down, is the tailback. Dwight Collins, one of the wideouts, number 32. The other wideout, Julius Dawkins. There's Pete Short, who made the interception. Thomas came into the game with 743 yards rushing, an average of 4.2. 1st down and 10 Pitt. Thomas again, up the middle, 35-yard line. Brian Thomas, a hard-running senior tailback, picks up 5. Jimbo Covert, All-American left tackle. Rob Fate, the left guard. The center is Jim Sweeney. Ron Sampson, right guard. The right tackle is sophomore, and an All-American at that is a sophomore, Bill Fralick. The tight end, Clint Wilson. John Brown, the starting tight end, hurt his knee over a month ago. He will not play today.
It looks like Pitt is coming out trying to establish a running game, and they'll set up their passing game off their running game.
Pitt is going to get hit with a penalty here. There's only 2 seconds left to go on the clock. He didn't make it, I don't believe. Let's see. No, he did make it. They're going to get the timeout. There was 1 second to go on the 25-second clock.
Well, Marino
But
didn't like what he saw, and it took a little too long, and he kept himself from getting a penalty.
There's a timeout of the action. The score, Penn State nothing, Pitt nothing. We'll be back right after this.
Reed from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Robert Hagrich Jr. Raymond Schuyler from Pittsburgh. And Kathy Davis. Please report to the first aid room under the left stand. Bob Reed from Lancaster.
And in cue number 1. After Pitt intercepted a Penn State pass in the end zone, the Panthers have the ball. Tommy, I don't know if you can hear me. That crowd noise is awfully loud. Okay. Pitt calling timeout to avoid a 5-yard penalty. Comes to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 5 yards to go. And they line up in a slot to the right. Here's Marino with his first pass. Screen to Thomas. Gets a block across the 35 and out to the 38-yard line. Harry Hamilton, the hero, came in to make the tackle. The gain is 2. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
That was a play very similar to the one that Penn State ran to Jonathan Williams. They put 2 wideouts to one side. Dawkins and Collins cleared the area, and they went to the screen to Thomas. Well defended.
With all the talk about the Pitt passing attack, Brian Thomas is the leading receiver on the Panthers. There you see the Penn State defense, and they have a 3rd down challenge here on 3rd down and 3 yards to go. Slot to the left, pitch to Thomas, looking to get outside left. He does. He's got the 1st down out at his own 44-yard line. Mark Robinson, the safety, had to come up and make the tackle, but not before Brian Thomas picks up 6 yards and a Pitt 1st down.
And so far, Stan, Pitt has run every running play away from Walker Lee Ashley. They're running to the weak side. They're picking on Steve Sefter's side and getting good yardage on their running attempts.
Well, now the ball's in the middle of the field. They had been running off the hash mark. Pitt picking up 2 consecutive 1st downs. Again, lining up in the eye. Marino, and a blitz is on. He throws in a flat, man open, and it is incomplete. Intended on the far sideline for Julius Dawkins, but the pass was tall. Overthrown, it is incomplete, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
They brought the outside linebacker, Harry Hamilton, the hero, from an outside position. He put the pressure on Marino, and he threw the ball a little bit high.
Pitt's head coach in his first year, Foch Fazio, with a record of 9-1.
Let's take a look at it. Here's Dawkins making a deep outside cut. The ball is way overthrown as Hamilton put the pressure on Marino.
Dan Biondi in on the coverage. So the pass falls incomplete. Pitt finds themselves now with a 2nd down and 10. Again, a slot to the right. Receiver split to the other side. Here's Brian Thomas on a delay. He's hit at the line of scrimmage and falls forward to the 45-yard line. Scott Radisick coming across the line of scrimmage to make initial contact. Walker Lee Ashley cleans it up. Gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Well, they anticipated well on that. They pinched Radisick, Sefter to the inside, and Gattuso took the gap, and they got Thomas in the backfield.
It's 3rd down and 9, and an obvious passing down. 10 minutes exactly to play in the first quarter. Penn State received the opening kickoff, marched from their 20 down to the Pitt 33, but an interception by Pete Short gave the ball back to Pitt. Slot to the left with Dawkins and Collins. Marino rolls to his right. Got room to run if he wants to. He does, and he gets out to the 50, and that's as far as he will get. Dan Marino picking up nearly 5 on the scramble. Ken Kelly made the tackle. It'll bring up 4th down and about 5 yards to go.
Dan, I'd like to make this point. A lot of people said that they felt that Pitt would have to roll out with Marino, a little fake to Thomas. But Marino doesn't throw near as well on the run as he does from the pocket. And if he has to roll out, then he's at a disadvantage.
All right, back to punt. Tony Recchia. He's averaging 40 yards even per kick. Here comes the rush. They almost get to him. No flag thrown. Kevin Bow takes the 15. Gets across the 20 and out to the 23-yard line. So the kick is 35 yards. The return is 8, and Penn State will take over at their own 23-yard line, 1st and 10. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State nothing, Pitt nothing. We'll be back right after this. Edit cue number 2. After the Panthers intercepted a Lions pass, move for 2 first downs. Take 2. Edit cue number 2, take 2. After the Panthers intercepted a Lions pass and moved for 2 first downs, the Penn State defense stiffened, forced a punt, and Penn State has the ball. 2 for 4, okay. One was a screen pass, Charlie. He didn't have 35 yards on 2 carries.
Yeah, he gained 20
On a run? Was that a screen pass? Okay.
38 to 37 to 48.
Got the same stats down here. Penn State with their second possession. The first one, they moved down to the Pitt 33, but an interception thrown by Todd Blackledge ended the drive. So with their second possession, here come the Lions at their own 23-yard line. Williams and Warner in the eye. Slot to the right with Kenny Jackson. Blackledge, short drop, out in the flat. He's hit and dropped to the 24-yard line. The pass complete to Kenny Jackson, but Pete Short was right there on top of it, the strong safety, in the slot. The pass is complete, but it is a gain of only 1 yard.
He had him covered literally like the old blanket, as we talk about. It's just a quick out to Kenny Jackson. The defensive back, the monster man for Pitts, right there, makes a nice tackle.
You saw Garrity trying to clear the area. Not so. Blackledge 3 out of 5, 36 yards. Second down, 9 yards to go. Penn State at their own 24. Again, they line up in the slot right. Now Jackson will come in motion to the near side. Kurt Warner's across the 25 and out to the 28-yard line. Warner picking up 4 yards. Rich Kranek, the inside linebacker, makes the tackle. So it'll bring up 3rd down and 5 yards to go.
Stan, that's the first time Penn State's used motion. Last year, by using motion, they created different situations on Pitt's defense that gave them a lot of trouble. They forced him into man-to-man coverage, and they hit Jackson for 2 touchdowns last year. Let's see what happens. See how Pitt plays their motion today.
This time they'll come out in a pro set with a slot to the right. Warner and Williams split on 3rd and 5. Here's Blackledge. Warner's open in the flat, but he throws over the middle. It is overthrown for Greg Garrity. Incomplete. Warner wide open in the flat, but Blackledge went over to the middle to Garrity. He was also open, but the ball was too high.
This is what they're going to have to do, though. They're going to have to get their short passing game going and put together a series of first downs.
Ralph Giacomero will come into kick. Keith Williams, number 21, on the far side. Chris Jellick on the near side to return. Ralph Giacomero averaging 40.5 yards per punt this year. Jellick averaging 7 yards a return. Williams 17.7. Giacomero's kick is a beauty. Williams all the way back at his 16-yard line. Comes upfield. He's got a wall on the far sideline. He's to the 50. Still on his feet. He's tackled from behind at the 22-yard line. Chris Sidnor finally got him. Keith Williams, with a punt return, has put Pitt in position to score.
Dan, that's an example of out-kicking your coverage. Williams got the ball real deep, got a chance to get up in the alley to the right. Gets a great kick-out block. Makes
Wait a
nice
minute.
cut.
Wait a minute. They're going to say that Williams signaled for a fair catch and then caught the ball.
Well, Sidnor ran him down, but if he did, he put his arm halfway up, and the official has the right to interpret that as actually making the defense drop off. I'm sure that's what the interpretation is going to be.
Well, the punt return was 62 yards, but apparently the officials have interpreted that Williams signaled for a fair catch and therefore becomes ineligible to try any sort of return.
Stan, the rule is this: you cannot put your hand up to your shoulder length level at all unless you intend to make the fair catch. If it goes up that high, then you have to put it all the way up.
All right, we're going to take another look at it.
3 steps.
Let's watch it. Now, what? Right here, watch his right hand. See, he starts putting it up here. Then he takes the ball.
Well, I don't know if you...
The fair catch signal went more than 3 steps. Let's delay a game. 1st and 15.
Let's take another look at it from this angle. If the hand, see, this he's interpreted waving him off as a fair catch. Now he probably is telling his other partner to get out of his way.
He was telling Chris Jellick, "I'll take it. You stay out of the way." And
but that's excellent officiating because it's a close interpretation, but that's the way it reads.
What a big play that is. Pitt starts out at their own 11-yard line after the penalty. Receivers split either side. The handoff inside to Joe McCall, and he gets across the 10 near the 12-yard line for a gain of 1. Dave Oldford made the tackle with help from Harry Hamilton.
You know, Stan, we talked about at the top of the show that the specialty teams are the key in big games, and this is nothing but bad luck for Pitt. This is a bad break for Pitt because the Penn State kids went through with it, was excellently executed. It was just an unfortunate incident for Pitt.
Being honest about it, though, George, it still is an interpretive play on the part of the
call.
official, and I mean, I would think it was fairly obvious that he was just waving his own man away. 2nd down and 9, Pitt at their own 12-yard line, in the eye. Whistles all over the place. The give was to Thomas, but we probably had motion on Pitt, which will mark it back. Well, 6:48 to play first quarter, no score. We've already had a couple of big plays.
That's a very disrupting factor here. Instead of having the ball down here on about the 24-yard line, they're back on their own 9-yard line.
The kick by Giacomero was 58 yards. The return was 62.
Dan, but it's very significant that Pitt made that up the right sideline, and that was a weakness in the Notre Dame game. They came up the right side twice and got into that same alley on the kickoff return.
Speaking of kickoff returns, Pitt has done an excellent job returning kicks. 2nd down, 16 yards to go for the first down. Marino will pass out of his end zone. In the flat, Collins is open, he's got it, he's hit, and he drives across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Harry Hamilton made the tackle with help from Mark Robinson. Dwight Collins with his first reception of the day. Collins on the year has 42 receptions.
It's just an out cut from the inside receiver in a slot. He turns around, and when Marino throws the football like this is why the pro scouts' eyes open up. He fired a bullet right to Collins. He almost got to the first down mark.
The gain was 11. It is 3rd down and 5. Pitt at their own 21. Movement, flag down. Here's the give and stop short of the first down. Ron Sams, the right guard, moved, but Penn State, if they allow the play to stand, will decline the penalty and take the ball, or did it happen before the whistle? Apparently a dead ball foul, so they will have to take the penalty.
Sams, you can see him. He moved before the ball. It's a dead ball foul. Pitt will be penalized 5 yards, and they do not lose the down.
So the ball's marked back to the 16. That'll make a 3rd down and 10 yards to go. We are scoreless in the first quarter, 6:27 to play. So that obviously will change the play call for Pitt. They will throw from anywhere, as you have seen. Dan Marino has already thrown out of his own end zone. 3rd down and 10. Collins slot left, Dawkins wide left. They come out of the eye. Here's Thomas. He's got a hole to the 25 to the 26-yard line and very close to the first down. Roger Jackson made the tackle, but a surprise call by Pitt on the delayed draw. And it's a first down.
But once again, Stan, they're running the ball away from Walker Lee Ashley. They're coming back. Now let's take a look at this. This ball, he'll cut back. It's a little counter play. They run it to the right. That's Sefter, 41. Got caught in the inside. They got Sams out in front, the pulling guard. And Roger Jackson makes the tackle, but not before he made the first down.
That's something that really takes the starch out of a defense. 3rd down and 10. They run a running play and make it. First and 10, Pitt at their own 26. Marino with a play fake. Looking and throwing the home run ball, double coverage. It is incomplete. Pass intended down deep for Julius Dawkins. Dan Biondi, Mark Robinson on the coverage. Long bomb by Marino. It is incomplete. Marino now is 2 out of 4.
Well, this is similar to what Blackledge did on the interception. Both quarterbacks are trying to force the ball deep, much too early. Their best bet would be to go and stay with a short passing game. Double coverage on Dawkins all the way. Could have been an interception.
Mark Robinson had his hands on it. He is tied with Scott Radisick as Penn State's leading interceptor. Both have 4. Second down and 10. Slot left. Play fake and Marino rolls. Throws, and it is caught up at the 37-yard line by Dwight Collins. Dan Biondi made the tackle, although Collins was already down, so no tackle was necessary. The gain is 12 out to the 38 in the first down.
All right, now they got Marino rolling out. It's pretty well defended, and this is a tough pass to throw for a right-hander going to his left, across his body, gets enough zip on it to get Collins on an out pattern. Good reception.
Pitt has moved from inside its own 10 out to the 38-yard line. 5 minutes to play, first quarter, no score. McCall, right guard, got a big hole to the 50 into Penn State territory at the 47. Roger Jackson and Mark Robinson made the tackle, but Joe McCall picking up 15 yards and a first down for Pitt.
That's a good call. This is just a quick fullback. Watch the fullback trap. But he makes a nice cut. Radisick, number 97, over pursued to his right. McCall found some daylight, made a nice gain. Tackled by Robinson, number 32.
And a good block by Rob Fade at the left guard on Dave Papenroth, which really cleared it open. First down and 10. Pitt in Penn State territory for the first time. Here's Thomas, right tackle, drives forward inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. Brian Thomas running hard, picks up 4. Dave Papenroth and Greg Gattuso make the tackle. George, interesting matchup. Greg Gattuso lining up nose-nose with Jim Sweeney. They are boyhood friends. They grew up together. They played grade school football together. They're very close friends, and they're eyeball to eyeball this afternoon.
And Sweeney's getting a little bit better of it right now, but that's a massive offensive line that Pitt has. Those two tackles, Covert and Freilich, are as big as any in the country.
Second down and 6. Slot right. Marino back to throw. Throwing over the middle, and it is almost intercepted, incomplete. And Dan Marino is shouting like his man ran the wrong pattern. Intended for Dawkins, Biondi on the coverage.
I think Danny was telling him he was supposed to run a stop pattern, but he didn't. He continued on the post, and Danny threw it behind him. But he's got a lot of zip on the football when he lets it go. He's got a great arm. Now let's see how far behind Dawkins it is. As Dawkins made an inside cut, he was supposed to come to a stop.
All right, another third down play. Third down and 5 yards to go. Slot to the right, out of the eye. Thomas got a hole, and he's very near the first down at the 38-yard line. This one may call for a measurement. Dave Papenroth made the tackle, and obviously Pitt has a lot of confidence in their ground game running on third down.
Well, Penn State has had a problem with the third down situations, giving up the third down conversion 47% of the time. Now, they play cautious inside their 30s, and then when you get close, they come at you. This is a little counter play, counter trap. Thomas found some daylight, very close to the first down.
The measurement is about a foot short, and I really don't think it made a whole lot of difference because Pitt obviously was going to go for it. They are out of field goal range at this point, so they will go for it on fourth down and a foot. Brian Thomas with 7 carries, 44 yards, third down and a foot. And now Pitt is going to have to call another timeout because they brought in an extra offensive guard, Paul Dunn, and that seemed to confuse the lineup. There's a timeout on the action. The score, Pitt nothing, Penn State nothing. We'll be back right after this. Edit cue number 3. After the Lions couldn't move on their second possession, it's 4th down, and Giacomero will punt. Edit cue number 4. Following the interception by the Pitt defense, the teams have exchanged punts, and Pitt has the ball. Where'd this drive start? The 11 or the 16? 16. Pitt has started this drive on the 11-yard line. They are now at the Penn State 38, 4th down, and 1 foot to go. Thomas, he's hit, but he falls forward and gets the first down at the 35-yard line. Penetration made by Steve Sefter. He tripped him up, but Thomas, who's got excellent balance, kept that balance, picked up 2 in the first down for Pitt.
That's just good running. Let's take a look at this. Ashley pinches to the inside, and it's Ashley who tripped him up. Thomas kept his feet, knew he had to get that first down, and he made it. That's just good running.
6 first downs for Pitt. And they have a first down at the Penn State 35, this time operating out of a wing. Marino to throw. He's got time over the middle, and it is intercepted by Penn State. Ken Kelly took the tip and is intercepted for Penn State. Ken Kelly getting the tip.
Well, Scott Radisick came on a blitz. There was a little inside stunt. You watch Radisick coming over from on the left side here. Now, he overthrows a little bit. And over Dawkins, off his fingertips. And there's Ken Kelly. That's just a good break for Penn State.
Dave Paffenroth had a shot at it, but the ball tipped up into Kelly's hands. So Dan Marino, on the season, has had his interception problems. That is his 22nd interception of the year, although coming into this game, he had only thrown 4 in the last 4 games, and really, that one, not really his fault, because the ball could have been caught by Dawkins.
Well, it's just about 6 inches, a little too high. He had his hands on it. You know, it's a big-time catch. And there it is. Paffenroth touched it, and Penn State was fortunate they had another player there to make the interception.
So Kelly comes up with the interception. Both teams in scoring position have traded interceptions.
And Penn State has dodged 2 bullets in the first quarter, and this could be very significant because Pitt's not going to get too many opportunities to put points up on the board.
And of course, Pitt did have the wind in the first quarter. Still do. 2:58 to play. Well, there he is, the New Jersey Devil. Both teams have been near the 35-yard line. As a matter of fact, Penn State was on the Pitt 33 when Blackledge threw his interception. Pitt was on the Penn State 35 when Marino threw his. So the turnovers are even right now.
They're still like 2 fighters, you know, feeling each other out. They're not ready to really unload yet. That's
Ken Kelly, senior linebacker from Stratford, New Jersey. Here come the Nittany Lions. Joel Coles at fullback. With a slot to the right. Kurt Warner trying to get outside. Gets to the 25 and is knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Yard shy of the first down. Troy Hill, left corner, rode him out of bounds. And for Kurt Warner, that is 19 yards on 3 carries. And we should mention, Warner needs 77 today to reach 1,000.
All right, this is another look at the interception. Now, Marino, he has time. He just puts a little too much zip on the ball. It's too high for Dawkins, and Kelly was there for the interception.
Well, everybody touched the ball. Kelly came out of there with it. The gain for Warner is 9. It is 2nd down and 1. Let's see if they go for it here on 2nd and 1. Here's Warner again to the right side. 30 and out near the 35-yard line. He fumbled the ball, but Penn State fell on it. Greg Garrity made the recovery. So Warner on the play picks up another 8, and it's a Penn State first down.
Now, this is a short side sweep to the tight end side. Now, Kurt really digs it out. He dips his shoulder and head. The ball pops loose, and the flanker, Garrity, coming across to get into the play, recovers a fumble. All the breaks are going Penn State's way so far.
Warner now with 950 yards on the year. He is averaging 5.2 yards per carry. First down and 10. Penn State slot left. Blackledge will throw. A lot of time over the middle. Wide open is Garrity at the 40, and he's brought down at the 37-yard line. Todd Blackledge hitting Greg Garrity. Tom Flynn made the tackle, and for Garrity, it is his 31st catch of the year.
And they always take them an interception before they get to do the things that are open. Now this is Garrity coming right across. Jackson cleared it out. You can see underneath, it's like a double crossing pattern. Garrity is wide open, and the ball was there. Let's take a look at Garrity coming across. The middle always has a big hole in it.
Kevin
Zone
Bow.
defense.
Kevin Bow is wide to the left with a Jackson in the slot left. Blackledge will throw again. Setting up the screen. Oh, Williams dropped the ball. He had 4 blockers ahead of him. Boy, there was room to roll there because it was perfectly set up. And John Williams, who on the year came in with 18 receptions, just dropped it flat out.
That's when the coach writes in his book, don't run with the ball until you catch it. Oh, this was really set up because they didn't figure. Pitt was not looking for pass. There's a good rush. The rhythm is fine. And Williams, you see his head looking upfield to the left. Boy, you wish he had that one back.
I know it didn't show it on the replay, but getting the overview of the field, they had 4 blockers out in front. So it's an incompletion. Blackledge now 4 out of 8. It is second down and 10. Williams makes a nice cut, tries to get outside. He does to the 30 and down to the 25-yard line. Nice run by John Williams, picking up 12 yards and another. Penn State first down. Safety Tom Flynn rode him out of bounds.
Stan, when you got speed, you can't teach speed. That's sheer speed. They got 3 receivers. There's an overload to the right. It's supposed to be a fullback trap. It's shut off by Pitt. He bounces to the outside. This is sheer speed. Just outran short, got to the sideline and made a first down. Excellent running. Flynn made the tackle.
And a good block by Dick McGinnis. First down, Penn State. The football at the Pitt 25-yard line. Penn State's deepest penetration of the game. In the eye with Coles at fullback. Blackledge, short drop, looking in the flat, wide open, and it is caught down at the 15-yard line. Kenny Jackson with his first reception of the day, and it'll be very close to that first down.
All right, first down play. That's a great time to pass because the defense not looking for it. Jackson just runs an out pattern, and if the ball's thrown properly, it's impossible to stop. First down on the 15.
All right, they're going to mark it a bit shy of the 15, George. It'll be a gain of 9, make it second down and 1. Kenny Jackson, with his 38th reception of the year, the leading Penn State receiver. Now they're in a slot right. Coles is the fullback. Second and 1. Coles gets the ball. He's got the first down. Still out of speed inside the 10 and down to the 8-yard line. Joel Coles with a hard driving run. Rich Kradak made the tackle, and Coles is from Pittsburgh, and he is fired up.
He's a great football player. This is the same play that Williams broke to the outside, but they run it to the right. This time the trap is there, and Coles takes it to the inside with Spiro's leading up. Kradak has a shot at him, keeps his feet. Penn State's in scoring position.
First and goal at the 9-yard line. Garrity wide right, Jackson slot right, throw set backfield with Coles and Warner. Motion Jackson out back the other way. Blackledge back to throw, looking in the flat, incomplete. Looking for Kenny Jackson, who is running across field. After his motion, incomplete. It'll be second and goal.
Well, for the fans, what happens then? When he goes in motion, one of the Pitt defenders tries to pick him up man for man. Now, he reverses his field back to the outside. There was some coverage there. That's a very dangerous pass down there because if it's underthrown, the defender can take it up the sidelines all the way.
1:13 to play in the first quarter. Second down and goal from the 9-yard line. Blackledge from tailback to a wing left. Looking in the end zone, man is open, overthrown for Kenny Jackson, who beat his man one-on-one. It's kind of the alley-oop. Todd had too much stuff on it. Troy Hill had coverage, but he was beaten but the pass was overthrown. It'll be 3rd down and goal. Blackledge now 5 out of 11 for 77 yards. He has thrown 1 interception.
Well, they definitely had him, but I think maybe they should stay on the ground. One more play. Now it's too late. We'll see. Anything might come up here. Might have an option pass or something. But they were moving the ball pretty good on the ground.
Garrity wide right and a slot right with Jackson. Here comes Jackson in motion all the way this time to the near side. Blackledge, there's a blitz on. Blackledge looking in the end zone. Too tall for Greg Garrity. Garrity again had a step, but Blackledge overthrew him, and that'll bring on the field goal unit and Nick Gancitano.
Well, he's open. Garrity will take a little inside fake to shake off Lewis. Cuts across into the end zone. Right there, the ball's way, way, way too high. Penn State will have to try for the field goal.
Gancitano is 7 out of 10. This one will be a 26-yard field goal straight away. There is no angle whatsoever. Ball's down, kick is up, and the kick is good. So Nick Gancitano with a 26-yard field goal has marked up the first 3 points of the game. Penn State scoring first 3-0, 1:01 to play in the first quarter.
But both teams have missed excellent scoring opportunities, and this is going to be one great game before it's all over.
Well, Penn State started this drive at their own 18-yard line, so they marched all the way down to the Pitt 9. 74-yard drive, 10 plays, ending up in the 26-yarder by Gancitano, who is now 8 out of 11 on field goals this year. Well, Penn State with a 1st and goal at the 9-yard line certainly want to put it in the end zone and had their opportunities. You know, George, on the 3rd down pass, actually the coverage by Hill was much better than at least I originally saw when we watched the replay. He was in pretty good shape there.
He was there, but a well-thrown ball could have been caught. I mean, Garrity definitely had a step to the inside on him.
Massimo Manca will kick it off for Penn State. Back deep. Barry Compton on the near side. Darnell Stone on the far side. Stone averaging 18.2 yards per return. It's a squiver coming up to Pitt and across the 30 and out to the 33-yard line. Picked up by a lineman down there. Rogers Alexander made the stop on Caesar Aldisert, who is the backup linebacker, a sophomore from Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. So against the wind, Joe Paterno calls for the squib, but Pitt does get good field position to the 33, 74 yards, 10 plays, took a minute 57. Penn State having to settle for a 26-yarder by Gancitano to give them the lead. Pitt with the ball at their own 33, and Marino will throw. Out in the flat, it is almost intercepted. Harry Hamilton had his hands on it, but he was falling backwards as the pass intended was underthrown.
Well, what's happening really, that both teams are changing defensive coverages. This time, he tries to go back to Dawkins on an out pad, and Hamilton dropped off, got underneath. It's actually double coverage. That's Harry Hamilton taking the inside with Biondi deep. Both quarterbacks are having trouble reading the defenses right now.
And this is what Penn State wanted to do. They said you can't give a quarterback as great as Marino the same look all the time. You've got to change. Thomas got a hole again, up the middle across the 35 and out to the 38-yard line. Harry Hamilton made the tackle, and Pitt is having great success, George, with the traps and delays.
Well, they have a big offensive line, and you know, they're pretty confident they could move the ball on the ground, but they know.
Tell me what that means now.
That's Brooklynese. We're rooting for Penn State.
It's either a play or whoever wrote it is very cold and his hand is shaking.
That's a little trap, come around type of block.
3rd down and 5. Pitt at their own 38-yard line. Got a slot to the right. Marino will roll. Got a lot of time, throws out in the flat. Wide open is Collins, and he's got the ball for a 1st down at the Penn State 49-yard line.
Well, that's an effective play. They hit it to the other side before. What happens when Marino rolls out, the linebacker has to come up now to make sure he doesn't run with the football. That takes the undercover away, and in this particular case, Collins just makes an out move as Dawkins clears out. The ball is right there. It's very well executed.
Marino now 4 out of 9 for 41 yards. Pitt with a 1st down at the Penn State 49-yard line. 1st down and 10 and a slot left. Marino looking, throwing to the side, and it is caught for a first down at the 32-yard line. Harry Hamilton makes the tackle on Dwight Collins, but it's a gain of another 17 yards and another Pitt first down.
This is really a simple scheme. They're putting two receivers to the one side, the outside receivers going deep, clearing out, and the inside receivers coming underneath. This time is from straight drop back action. Similar pattern that he just hit Collins before. It's an out pattern. He's got to have, and Penn State's going to have to put some pressure on him.
All right, that is the end of the first quarter of action. The score, Penn State 3, Pitt nothing. We'll be back right after this. Thanks, Dave. There was no further scoring, and the first quarter ended with the score, Penn State 3, Pitt nothing. We'll be back right after this. Edit cue number 5. After Pitt's long return of a Penn State punt was nullified, the Panthers have moved to Penn State territory. Edit cue number 6. After Ken Kelly intercepted a Pitt pass and moved for a field goal, Pitt has the ball with a score, Penn State 3, Pitt nothing. Lead in out of break. We're back with second quarter action with Penn State in control of the football. Lead in out of break. We're back with second quarter action with Pitt in control of the football. Starting the second quarter, Pitt, first down and 10 at the Penn State 31-yard line. They've got Thomas in a slot left, receivers, 3 of them split, 1 left, 2 right. Here's Joe McCall. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, gets away, and dives inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line. Tough run by Joe McCall. Dave Papenroth and Joe Hines made the tackle. The gain is 3. It'll be second down and 7 yards to go.
That was a form of a spread formation. 2 wide receivers on both sides, and they tried to run the fullback counter trap, but Papenroth was there. Penn State was not fooled.
In the first quarter, Pitt with a total of 131 yards, Penn State 127, and this game was...
Can't get any more even than that.
Picked is even. Time of possession, Pitt with a big advantage there. Second down and 8, and they give us to Thomas. He's hit, and he falls down to the 26-yard line. Nice play by Mike Zordich, who is in there for Harry Hamilton, or rather for Ken Kelly. He's playing a linebacker, not the hero.
Well, Penn State guessed right that particular time. They've been burned a few times on second and long passing situations with Pitt running the ball. Obviously, he came down from upstairs. They put a little bit of a blitz on there.
Third down, 5 yards to go. And they're in that spread formation again. Marino calling an audible at the line of scrimmage. Third down and 5. Marino rushed out of there. Ball tossed in the end zone, and it is incomplete. Everybody was jump ball time. Everybody had a shot. Mark Robinson, actually the last man who had a chance, and that will set up a field goal attempt, or an apparent one anyway, for Pitt.
Stan, give credit to Walker Lee Ashley on this. They got a little stunt to the inside. That's Papenroth, the linebacker. Hines, the tackle. Marino decides to roll out. Ashley plays off the block of Frelick, chases Marino with enough speed to make him throw the ball without any velocity, and the Penn State defenders was there. That's Walker Lee Ashley's play all the way.
Eric Schubert to attempt a 44-yard field goal. He's 9 out of 16 on the year. The kick is up, and it is no good. Wide left. Oh, Eric Schubert attempting a 44-yarder is wide left, and Penn State will take over at their own 27-yard line. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State 3, Pitt nothing. We'll be back right after this. Oh, okay, great. Okay, thanks, Charlie. That's good. I like that. Edit cue number 7. Following the Penn State field goal to give the Lions a 3-0 lead, Pitt moved for a field goal attempt. The kick missed, and Penn State has the ball, leading 3-0. I don't know about me and George, but Mr. Rickens is on the ball today.
He's always on the ball.
He's tough.
Well, you got all the big wheels here. That's why he's on the ball. He wants to make a good impression.
He rises to the occasion.
Yeah, give me some coffee. Our defense is playing splendidly, really.
Yeah. .13:34 to play in the first half. Penn State at their own 27, and they will have the wind at their back for the first time on offense. Here's Kurt Warner. Gets a block. 35, outside of the 40, 45, and run out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Kurt Warner with a 20-yard pickup and a Penn State first down.
This is a counter play. There's an awful lot of guessing in football. Pitt goes to an inside stunt, and the play goes to the outside. He gets a heck of a block. They pulled the center, Battaglia, on that because Pitt went to an even defense. Good running by Kurt Warner.
Battaglia blew out Michael Brooks.
What's that cut? All great backs can cut quickly on a dime.
First down and 10 after the 20-yard gain by Kurt Warner. Blackledge, he's in trouble. Scrambles loose, he's going to be hit. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage and even gains a yard. Al Wenglikowski circling back to make the tackle on Blackledge. Give Blackledge a gain of, I don't know, do we measure in centimeters? Well, let's call it a gain of 1 and call it second down and 9.
I'm sure a lot of people are saying, why are they throwing the ball when they're running so much? Well, the reason why they're running well is because they have been mixing it up. And against a great defensive team like Pitt, you got to do the unexpected.
Pitt is in the top 5 in the country overall defensively and second in the nation against the rush. They've given up only 82 yards a game on the ground. Second down and 9. Out of the eye to the pro set. Warner cuts up, gets to the 49, and that's all. Good, solid run support by left corner Troy Hill. The gain is a couple. It'll be third down and 7.
That was a pro set with a slot. Just a pitch to Warner to the short side, and he'll come up as secondary force and held that to about a 3-yard gain.
Penn State, 3 out of 5 in third down conversions. There you see Blackledge's stats. He's got a third down and 7 here. Here comes the rush. Blackledge with time, throws in the flat. It is well overthrown for Greg Garrity. McCloskey was also very close to the area where the pass was intended, so nothing doing there.
A lot of pressure from Paluzzi and Wenglikowski on that particular play. That was a double out where they take the undercover out with the underneath man and try to get it to the deep man. Garrity was not well thrown.
Jellick and Williams back to receive the punt by Giacomero. One punt today, 58 yards. No rush. Giacomero gets it away. Coming up kind of short. Jellick. He's snowed under at his 14-yard line. No return at all. Ralph Giacomero with a 37-yard punt. No return. John Walter made the tackle for Penn State. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Penn State 3, Pitt nothing. We'll be back right after this. Edit cue number 8. After Pitt missed a field goal, the Lions moved to midfield and stalled. Penn State punted, and Pitt has the ball.
Where's my quarter?
11:51 to play in the first half. Penn State holding on to that 3-0 lead. The points coming on a 26-yard field goal by Nick Gancitano. Dan Marino, 5 out of 11 for 58 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Brings Pitt to the line of scrimmage on 1st and 10, just shy of their 15. Thomas, he's hit and dropped. 2-yard gain for Brian Thomas. Good defensive play by Ken Kelly. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8 yards to go.
And especially with the field position Pitt's in, you'll see Penn State play more aggressive against the run because they know that Pitt has the wind in their face and they're deep in their own territory.
We should mention, George, also the wind has picked up significantly since the start of the game. Really, both quarterbacks, Marino 5 out of 11, Blackledge 5 out of 13. Neither one has gotten the hot hand yet. 2nd down and 8, Pitt at their 17. Marino, a lot of time, throws over the middle and is caught. Thomas out to the 23-yard line. Ken Kelly made the tackle, but Thomas on the play picks up 6. It'll be 3rd down and 2. And again, Thomas out of the backfield is Pitt's leading receiver.
Well, that was a 3-man rush. Penn State dropped everybody off. You'll see now Thomas will circle out and under. He's actually the outlet receiver. Now, Danny Marino can't find anybody else. He sees Thomas running right to left. Babenrath is there, holds him to a short gain.
3rd down, 2 yards to go. Slot to the right. Marino will throw. There's a blitz over the middle. It is caught by Wilson, the tight end. He's open, and Biondi finally gets him at the 38-yard line. Clint Wilson, who had caught only 10 balls all year long, coming in for the injured John Brown, picks up big yardage out to the Penn State 38-yard line.
This is Marino at his best. He read the blitz. Penn State came with the both inside linebackers. It's just a quickie to the tight end. Wilson, 84 across, running right to left, and the smallest man on the field makes the biggest tackle.
Clint Wilson is 6'3", 205. Biondi made the tackle, and had he not done so, Wilson had nothing but green and white in front of him. Gutsy call on 3rd and 2. Here's the 1st down. Marino with a fake reverse. He rolls out. Ashley chases. He's out to the 45 and slides out to the 46-yard line. It's an 8-yard gain for Dan Marino, and I don't know if that was a busted play or not.
Well, no, the Penn State came from the outside with Ashley and the Schefter, the 2 defensive ends. I think they're going to try to put more pressure on him. That particular play that he hit Wilson on was just perfectly timed out.
Marino now has been forced to run the ball twice, 13 yards on the plus side. 2nd down, a little bit less than 3 yards to go for the 1st down. And again, they come out in the spread with Thomas in the slot right. McCall cutting up to the 50 and out to the 49-yard line in Penn State territory. Harry Hamilton and Walker Lee Ashley make the tackle, but the gain is 6 and another Pitt 1st down. That is their 10th 1st down of the game. 6 on the ground, 4 through the air.
Spread formation, fullback, counter trap. McCall makes a nice cut to the outside. It was a passing situation. They ran the ball and they made the 1st down.
Well, the game running pretty much true to form. Penn State's defense giving up yardage, but they have not allowed Pitt to score. 1st down and 10. Pitt at the Penn State 49. Marino's finally forced to throw quickly. Gets out to Thomas. The 45 tries to make a move and does make a move and gets down to the 48. Knocked out of bounds by Ken Kelly. Steve Schefter put the rush on Marino, but Marino coolly standing back. He gets a gain out of 9, so it'll be 2nd down and 1.
Well, this time it's a 3 or 4-man rush. Penn State's dropping everybody off into the lanes. There's nobody open. Danny rolls to his left. He finds Thomas is a safety valve. He's told to go down about 5, just stop, and you wait for the ball in case nobody else is open.
That's good tough running there by Brian Thomas because Kelly hit him and he fell forward for 3, and they will measure for the first down. Going to be a little bit short. It'll be second down in just inches. 9:01 to play in the half. Pitt moving the ball very well against the wind now.
In the past, Dan Marino in this situation likes to go deep.
Marino now 8 out of 14 for 88 yards. Couple inches shy, 2nd and 1, and of course you can gamble here. Pitt very confident in their running game, and they have done well thus far. For example, Brian Thomas, 56 yards and 11 carries. Second down, very short yardage. Barry Compton splits wide left, a slot to the right with Dawkins and Collins. Marino will throw, the rush is on, Harris misses him. Marino can run, he's got a lot of room. He does, nice move to the 35 and down to the 31-yard line. Marino running more than he has all year long. Scott Radisick made the tackle. Al Harris came on the blitz but couldn't bring him down. It's another Pitt first down, they're 12.
Well, Stan, Joe Paterno got gray hair on that one. Harris had him clean, and he violated a cardinal sin. You got to keep the ball to the inside shoulder, keep the ball carried to the inside shoulder. He gets caught. Let's watch Harris to the left. He gets caught a little too close to the inside. Marino sees him, steps outside of him, puts the defensive secondary in a bind, and makes a nice gain at it.
Get on the march. First down and 10 at the 31. McCall hit at the line of scrimmage and stopped for no gain. What a shot by Dave Pappenroth. No gain on the play, it'll be second down. No gain on the play, it'll be second down and 10.
Both teams, when they get near their own 30, the other opponent's 30, kind of get stymied a little bit. They don't seem to have the knockout punch. Once again, Penn goes to McCall on the first down, trying to run it. Pappenroth's right there, puts him down.
Pappenroth defeated the block of tight end Clint Wilson, stripped his man, and got the ball carried. Slot left on second down and 10. Marino throws over the middle, and it is caught by Compton for a first down at the Penn State 12. Barry Compton, injured almost all year long, and Dan Marino took a shot after he released the pass.
Well, that was a great catch. That's the best catch of the day, and Marino unfortunately got hit as he was throwing the football. You'll see Compton coming from the left of your screen. It's a crossing pattern. Marino really zips it, but the ball is thrown behind Compton. He adjusts his body to the ball. It's a super catch, turning completely around. He didn't get punished, but the quarterback did. Strange things happen in football.
Barry Compton had a severely torn hamstring. He missed the first 6-7 games of the year.
Let's see if we can see how Marino gets hit. It's Ashley. Good clean hit as he threw the ball coming from behind.
He fell on his hand. I think it's his left hand, George, and he fell on it as he went down. It really wasn't from the hit. It's where he fell, and he looks to be in an awful lot of pain.
Well, I hate to say it, it looks like a sprained or a possibly busted left wrist. Once again, that's Ashley coming from the outside, his defensive end position. He eventually keeps coming. He beats the block of Covert, 75. Now Marino's got his eyes upfield where he should. Takes the hit from behind. Watch the left hand come under him. And that's where the injury seems to be.
Unfortunate time because Marino had hit his last 4 passes in a row. 9 out of 15, 108 yards.
And one thing that's very significant, both teams are not the same teams without their quarterbacks.
Oh, no
they
question
both got
about it.
lack of, not to use the word quality depth, but a lack of experience depth at the backup quarterbacks.
In case you were wondering, the backup quarterback for Pitt is senior Dan Daniels, but he has thrown a grand total of 6 passes all year long, completing 2.
It doesn't look good.
Marino coming off. Let's see if we can get a shot. Of course, they'll have to...
Well, Stan, regardless of whether he comes back in the game or not, it's a big emotional letdown for Pitt right now, and it's a big break for Penn State, if you want to call it that, because they're on the 11-yard line. They have an opportunity to get a touchdown here, and they got to come in with a new quarterback, and sometimes that's disconcerting.
Well, if Marino's all right, he'll be back in the next play. It looked like he may have hit the nerve and his arm went dead for a while, his left arm. Danny Daniels at quarterback, I think it's a pretty safe bet that they'll run here with Daniels in at quarterback. Here comes Thomas. Trying to get outside, one-on-one, gets inside the 10 and down near the 8-yard line. Dan Biondi caught him in midair, but Thomas made really a very nice move to pick up 3 on the play, just inside the 9. It'll be 2nd down and 7. And there you see Marino. Look like he's clutching his left bicep.
Well, he might have had a chair up there, but you know they're going to run in this situation, so does Penn State. But eventually Pitt will have to put the ball in the air, substitute quarterback or not.
Well, Penn State really doesn't have to be concerned about a great deal here as far as offensive play selection. Thomas again gets outside, inside the 5 to the 4-yard line, and Penn State missing tackles. Roger Jackson tripped him up, but really it was more a matter of Thomas losing his balance.
And that's just poor tackling. Now let's take a look. Ashley coming, I think, what are we going to see? I think we're going to see the injury again. Yes, this is Ashley coming. This is the hit again for the 3rd time.
Pitt will go with an extra offensive lineman here as they bring Dawkins out of the game. It is 3rd down.
Remember, they don't want to lose the opportunity to get a field goal either.
2 yards for the 1st down. Thomas, he's hit. He gets away, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. Penn State had him. It would have been a loss, and they would have had to go for the field goal, but more poor tackling. Roger Jackson missed it, and Pitt, without their number 1 quarterback, goes in on the 4-yard run by Brian Thomas.
Got to give the credit to Thomas. They've completely stymied Jackson coming from a corner blitz. He has done this in the past. He doesn't use his arms. Thomas bounced off Jackson's tackle. Kelly could not compensate. Touchdown for Pitt.
85 yards in 12 plays, a 4-yard run by Thomas.
Well, Thomas just outran Kelly, but Roger Jackson had a clean shot at him in the backfield.
Eric Schubert to attempt the extra point. It is up and good. Schubert, 36 out of 37 on the season. There's a timeout in the action. The score, Pitt 7, Penn State 3. We'll be back right after this. Edit cue number 9. Following the Pitt touchdown and extra point, the Panthers lead 7-3, and Penn State has the ball.
Do you remember a play against Nebraska, Fryer, when they hit him on the post and Roger did the same thing?
Roger and Robinson, yeah.
They did not get his arms up, and they busted the tackle, and Fryer went for a touchdown, got Nebraska back into the football game.
Because otherwise you have a tie game now. Because now it's 4th down and...
Presuming he made it, sure. But the breaks balance out. Penn State said all the breaks open.
Nichols involved.
I think Marino was really hurt, or he'd be up throwing. You'd expect it.
Brian Thomas scoring on a 4-yard run, and a great run it was, capping an 85-yard drive, and Pitt is on the board and takes the lead for the first time, 7-3. 6:16 to play in the first half. Back deep to receive the kickoff. On the near side, Skeeter Nichols. On the far side, Kevin Bow. Bow averaging 22.4 yards per return. Eric Schubert against the wind will kick it off for Pitt. Line driver, it's deep. Nichols lets it roll out of bounds, so Schubert will have to do it again. Ball took a sideways bounce, and that'll move it back to the 35, and Schubert will do it once again. Here's the touchdown run,
Once
George.
again, now this is great second effort. Now let's give Thomas some credit. There comes Roger Jackson. Now watch how his right hand never really come up. Reverse pivot, spins out of it, and the quarterback come back and did a good job picking off Robinson coming from the other side. This is great second effort. All the credit goes to Thomas. Good running.
Great block by Danny Daniels. I hadn't seen that the first time around. Danny Daniels throwing the block on Mark Robinson. We want to remind you that announcers on this telecast are contracted and paid for by Total Communication Systems, and any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the accounts of the game without the express written consent of Total Communication Systems is prohibited. 6:16 to play in the half. Pitt, scoring on a Brian Thomas run, has taken the lead at 7-3.
Stan, if I can make a quick comment, I think Marino might be hurt, because if he wasn't hurt, I think he'd be up throwing the ball, trying to get ready for the next series.
Schubert kicks off to Nichols, and he slips and loses balance at the 6-yard line. So Penn State will now have to travel 94 yards if they want to regain the lead before the half is out.
Well, they put Nichols in over Mumford, who's been in there. Actually should have let that ball go out of bounds. It would have been another penalty. Puts Penn State in a hole. And that's the way the breaks go.
Total yards in the game, Penn State with 148, Pitt with 221. And there you see the information on the scoring drive. Pitt with a large edge, 80 yards thereabouts in total offense. First down and 10, Penn State in a deep hole. Warner outside the 10, 15, and out to the 20. Kurt Warner running hard and having himself a nice day, picks up 14 yards and a Penn State first down.
He's just a great back, and is he pumped up. Now, Pitt knew they were going to run the football. In fact, they'll come off the corner there with a man. He just makes a great cut to the inside. Flynn gets caught, over pursuing, cut back on him, almost busted it all the way.
Kurt Warner already was 62 yards on 7 carries, 9 yards a carry. So the Lions get out of that hole. Blackledge, short drop. Jackson, 2-yard gain. Jackson dropped to his knees to catch the ball. So it's a 2-yard gain. The clock runs at 5:38 to play in the half. George, would you like to see that rule change in college where your knee touches and you're down?
Yeah, I think I would, because there's too many slips and put teams in precarious position. Now, what they're doing with Jackson, they're trying to get him out where he can run with the ball, but Pitt's jamming him. They're actually doing a man underneath and a zone behind him. I still say the tight end is going to be the key guy in this game, because he's got to catch some short passes.
Go to 2nd down and 8, Penn State. Warner again outside. He's got some room. Cuts upfield and gets across the 30 and out to the 34-yard line. A 12-yard gain for Kurt Warner. That gives him 74. He is now just 3 shy of 1,000.
And he's saying, hey, give me the ball every play. Well, but what's making this effective are the 2 flanker backs. They have 2 wide receivers. They are both blocking superbly on the deep men. Now, right there, you see, I think it's Garrity and it's got to be Roger Jackson out there. Both of them are blocking on the corner for Kurt Warner.
Give him a gain of 11 and make it first down and 10 at the 33-yard line. Kevin Bow wide right. There's a pitch wide to Coles. He gets a block. And he fumbles the football. Pitt is recovered. Joel Coles fumbles, and Michael Brooks recovers for Pitt. And they have the ball in Penn State territory just when Penn State started them on a drive.
Well, that's the way it goes. They try to get some momentum. Joel Coles loses the ball.
Penn State leading the nation in takeaways, fumble recoveries, has turned it over twice.
This is just from that slot formation, fullback sweep. Once again, Loeb, 60s out front. The ball was stripped loose.
First down and 10. And Marino's back in. Brian Thomas cannot get much. He gets the 42. Harry Hamilton made the tackle, and Dan Marino is back in at quarterback. 4:20 to play in the half. Penn State on a drive. Fumbles the football away. By the way, Pitt's turnover ratio is a -2 coming into the game. Penn State was a +19, so that is turned around. 2nd down. 9 yards to go. Slot to the left. Marino to throw. All the time in the world. It's unbelievable. Still nobody near him. Now he throws, and it is incomplete. Intended over the middle for Wilson, the tight end. Scott Radisick offered coverage. It's very difficult for a secondary to stay with receivers that long.
Well, what's happening, they're only rushing 3 people, and they're trying to clog up the lanes. That time he was forced to roll outside. Ashley was there, come back to the other side. Now the receivers have to reroute themselves. It's not that easy to make a completion, but you have to change up once in a while. I wouldn't be surprised if Penn State comes back with a blitz.
Well, this is a very big play. It is third down. 9 yards to go. If Penn State can get out of this without giving up any points, it's a big lift for them.
Three-man rush again.
Marino throwing, incomplete. Intended over the middle for Brian Thomas, incomplete, and that'll force Pitt to punt the football.
Well, I don't know whether it was because of the injury or what, but he threw that into a dead spot on the field. Now, Penn State, again, as I said before, rush 3. You got 8 people dropping off, taking all those lanes. It's hard to find a receiver.
Recchia into punt for Pitt. Sometimes they'll use Marino here, but the ball's the 42-yard line. It's a fairly good punt. The wind is against him. Mark Robinson, the single safety, and Penn State is playing kind of a loose defense, expecting perhaps a fake. Recchia will kick for the near sideline. Good high kick, but it will go into the end zone. A 42-yard kick, but he does not put Penn State in the hole that he had hoped for, and the Lions will have the ball at their 20 with 3:34 to play in the first half. Well, George, I think you would have to say that was a key circumstance there, fumbling the football on a drive and not allowing any points.
Well, Penn State's defense has played well all day, sir. There was a one busted tackle, but within their own, the 20-yard lines, they've been excellent. Their offense is what sputtered a little bit here. They haven't been able to really get any continuity to it. Of course, they're going against a great defensive team.
Well, you talked about it earlier. On the preceding drive, the one where they ended up punting to Pitt, Warner runs the ball for 20 on first down to the 47-yard line. Now they throw 3 straight times.
Well, I think what happens here, see, it's in the game plan. They don't expect to get 20 on the first down, so they're thinking, okay, we're going to run, and then we're going to come back with a pass. But if you get more than 8 or 9 or 10 every time you run the ball, keep running it until they stop and then get to the pass. So that's a pre-game game plan that they're working right now. I'm sure at halftime to make the adjustment.
Penn State has run the ball extremely well. Kurt Warner was 74 yards on 8 carries, whereas Todd Blackledge has only managed to hit on 6 out of 14 for 79 yards and an interception. Penn State has turned it over twice. Pitt has turned it over once. Pitt has had their offense on the field most of the afternoon. You see the edge in plays run. Here's Warner. He's in trouble. He'll lose a yard at the 19-yard line. Rich Cranack, good penetration by the Pitt defense along with J.C. Pelusi. Make the tackle, so Warner will lose one back to the 19. It'll be 2nd and 11. We've got 3 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the half.
Stan, the way the game is going, and probably will continue to go like this, this is the exact same play as before. That Spiro's going to come around block. Now this time Warner can't get to the outside. It looks like a big play or 1 or 2 big plays are going to decide this football game.
Clock runs under 3 minutes now on 2nd down and 11. Fake draw. Screen. Williams. He's in trouble. He loses the football. Did they call it dead?
I think they called it dead on him.
They did call it dead. They said that Williams was down. Wenglikowski came up with the ball. But a break for Penn State. They call it down. The play loses 2 to the 17. It'll be 3rd down and 13.
Again, this is the screen. They're trying to come back. They fake the one. They're going to screen off to the fullback, Williams. It's really not well executed, and Pitt has it well defended. Let's see if his knee hits. If his knee hits, then it's a dead ball. He's still at, well, I don't know. You can't see from this particular angle.
3rd down, 13. Penn State in the slot left. Blackledge, he's rushed. He throws,
Got him.
and it is caught. Greg Garrity with a reception and out of bounds at the Pitt 48-yard line. A 36-yard reception and a Penn State first down. Tom Flynn ran him out of bounds.
Stan, you can't throw a ball any better than that. You've heard people say football is a game of inches. Watch that. That was Miles, 71, just missed Blackledge, giving him time. He lays it right out like a cushion to Garrity coming across the field. Boy, was that a big play for Penn State.
Got him out of the hole, kept the drive alive. 2:06 to play in the half. Penn State with all 3 of their timeouts. First down and 10. Motion. Kevin Bow. Here's Warner to the near side. Cuts up and is knocked out of bounds near the 45-yard line. Inside the 45 to the 44. It's a gain of 4 for Warner. And now Kurt Warner has gone over the 1,000-yard mark.
Which is great. That's another look at this is a little screen here. That's 2 plays back, fellas. And this is the one that Williams almost fumbled. He fumbled, but it was called dead. The knee hit the ground. But at this particular juncture, Penn State's thinking 3. I mean, they'd like to get 6 or 7, but they want to get at least 3.
Sherlock Holmes came to the game. Second down and 6 at the Pitt 44. Coles needs a block from Warner. Good, tough running on his own to the 39-yard line. Bill Moss, who is 6'4" and 260, chased him down from behind. He was the man who was trailing the play. Good lateral pursuit, but Coles outquicked him just a bit.
Now, Coles was supposed to go inside. It was clogged up. Could find no daylight. Took it to the outside, made a nice gain out of it. Pitt is jamming up into the inside, and really they must be keying on Warner.
Third down and 2, 1:25 to play in the half. If Penn State gets the first down, I think they'll call a time. Warner, he's hit in the backfield. He fumbles the football, and Pitt is recovered. Al Wenglikowski, a brutal shot. He recovers, and again, Penn State turning it over for the 3rd time gives Pitt an opportunity to get on the board for the half. And talk about a flip-flop.
Well, this is Wenglikowski. He's just, as I said, keying Warner. Watch him come from the outside. The fullback let him go. Nobody touched him. Coles let him go. Warner coughs up the ball. Now Pitt has a chance to get some points. Another angle. Watch Coles 20 pass up. Wenglikowski coming from his defensive end position.
Penn State's 3rd turnover now. Marino
comes a blitz.
The throw, the blitz is on. He's hit, and he's down at the 34-yard line.
Stan, that boy's hurting.
Marino actually fell down from the pressure. The ball moved all the way back to the 34. The loss on the play is 8. It'll be 2nd and 18. And again, the clock runs with 55 seconds. Keep in mind, Pitt has just 1 timeout left.
I really don't think Danny's going to be able to throw the ball deep. He'll probably make me eat my words.
McCall breaks 1 tackle, breaks another across the 45-yard line, and Joe McCall breaking tackles at the line of scrimmage. A good, tough run. A gain of 11 will bring up 3rd down and 7, but the clock is running with 25 seconds, and I don't think Pitt will call a timeout unless they get the first down, or maybe they will not even run another play, take the 7-3 lead at the half.
Well, you don't want to take any chances here. You know, you turn the ball over at this particular position, the other opponent might get 3 out of it. They might as well let it run out. I think that would be the proper coaching technique, strategy here.
5 seconds. They do not have to run the play. They will. Marino chased by Gattuso. He fires upfield, and it is caught by Williams. Williams to the 37-yard line, but that will end the first half of play. That's the end of the first half. The score, Pitt 7, Penn State 3. We'll be back right after this. Offense, 126 passing, 115 rushing for a total of 241. Now look at Penn State. Absolutely even. 113 on each corner, 226 total. Todd Blackledge, 8 out of 16. Dan Marino, 10 out of 18. Neither man with a touchdown pass. Both have been intercepted once. You can see that Penn State is averaging better than 6.5 yards per carry on the ground.
Well, you can't
turnovers, you can see that's been the difference in the ball game, really. Penn State has turned it over 3 times, losing 2 fumbles, 1 by Williams, 1 by Coles, and an interception. Pitt will receive to start the second half. Massimo Manca to kick off for Penn State. Very confident, Darnell Stone, and again, it comes up short. McIntyre, who has not played today, comes across the 30 to the 31, and I wonder why, although Pitt does have an excellent kick return game, even with the wind, they went with the squib. Greg Gattuso, Dave O for the tackles. Walker Lee Ashley, defensive end. Penn State linebackers, Ken Kelly, who has an interception today. Scott Radisick, middle linebacker. Dave Paffenroth, first down and 10. Pitt at their own 31-yard line. Marino gives to Thomas, and he's got room to the outside. Good yardage up to the 39-yard line. Mark Robinson had to come up and make the tackle for Penn State. Biondi, one of the corners. Jackson, the other corner. Mark Robinson, the safety. And Harry Hamilton, the hero.
Stan, that's the same play that Penn State has been running with Warner. They put two wideouts, loosening up the defense, and then the back makes a cut up to the inside.
8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. Thomas comes out of there as they bring in the third wide receiver, Barry Compton, 2nd and 2. McCall hit at the line of scrimmage and stopped for no gain. Steve Sefter, knifing in from defensive end, makes the hit on McCall. No gain. 3rd down and 2. And on 3rd downs, Pitt is 5 out of 9 on 3rd down conversion. Just underway in the 3rd quarter. Pitt leading 7-3. The initial offensive possession of the 2nd half. 3rd down and 2. They threw from this to the tight end before. Here's Moreno to throw again. No rush out in the flat, then it is dropped. Would have been complete, but the pass was dropped by Joe McCall, and that'll bring up 4th down and 2.
He would have made a lot more than the first down out of that because nobody covered McCall coming out of the backfield.
Now here Penn State has a great chance for field position because the wind is really kicking up now, blowing directly in the face of punter Tony Recchia. Here it comes, another rush on. It may have been partially tipped, the ball rolling, and it'll be blown dead at Penn State 40-yard line. Penn State will come back with the ball. There's a timeout of the action. The score, Pitt 7, Penn State 3. We'll be back after this. Edit cue number 12. Pitt took the kickoff to open the 2nd half. The Lion defense stopped the Panthers, forced a punt, and Penn State has the ball. There's that halftime stat sheet.
The wind is really whipping like that now.
Penn State first down and 10 at their own 40-yard line, trailing 7-3. Their first possession of the 3rd quarter, first down and 10. Here's Blackledge missing the handoff. He has to keep. He falls forward for a couple of yards out to the 42 as the half starts for Penn State on a broken play. Michael Brooks, Dave Pizzoli across the front, J.C. Pelusi, the middle guard. The right defensive tackle is Bill Maas, a junior from Newton Square, PA. And the right defensive end, Al Wenglakowski. Also see Chris Dolman in there quite a bit. Well, the gain is 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. And George, with the wind really kicking up now, if Penn State's going to get something done, it almost has to be in this quarter.
They better take advantage of having the wind at their back.
2nd down and 8. Blackledge 8 out of 16, 110 yards, 1 interception. Blitz. Blackledge. He's hit and dropped, fumble, and Penn State has recovered at the original line of scrimmage. Bill Kontz fell on the ball to recover, and now it is 3rd down and 8. Penn State initially picked up the blitz, but nobody was open.
Well, Pizzulli, watch Pizzulli. I believe it's Pizzulli. Moss is putting pressure, and Pizzulli comes off his block and makes the tackle. Penn State's fortunate to have the ball recovered. The tight end was open.
Penn State has fumbled 5 times. They have lost only 2. And a lot of that is due to the ferocious hitting. I mean, they are just smacking each other. 3rd down and 8 yards to go. Penn State needs a first down. Blackledge looking, he's firing the bomb along the sideline, well overthrown, intended for Kurt Warner. Ball at least 5 yards overthrown, and Penn State will be forced to punt. Rich Cranack, one of the linebackers, along with Yogi Jones, a leading tackler. In the defensive backfield for the Pitt Panthers, Troy Hill at left corner, Tim Lewis at right corner, Dan Peep short with an interception, Tom Flynn the free safety. Here's Giacomero to kick. It's off a high kick. The wind to his advantage, obviously. It is fielded, and Jellick falls down at the 8-yard line. Chris Jellick, a freshman, probably never should have touched the ball.
Stan, there's an automatic rule that the coach, if the ball goes inside the 10, you let it go. You're not going to catch a ball. You got to take a gamble or go into the end zone, and you get a touchback.
There's a timeout in the action. The score, Pitt 7, Penn State 3. We'll be back right after this. Edit cue number 13. After Pitt took the kickoff to open the second half, the teams exchanged punts, and the Pitt Panthers have the ball. You see the wind. No additional words are necessary. The wind is blowing against Pitt here in the third quarter. Of course, they will have it in the fourth. First down and 10, Pitt at their own 8-yard line. Let's see if they're careful with it in here, and if they keep it on the ground. Thomas trying to get outside. He gets across the 10 and out to the 13-yard line. It may not look like much, but that is a 5-yard gain. And at this moment, Penn State losing the battle at the line of scrimmage. Mark Robinson made the tackle, but a gain of 5 for Brian Thomas.
Once again, that's been their most successful play. They run into the side of the 2 wide receivers. Penn State's loosening up with the 2 wide receivers. They're going to have to come with a blitz off that corner.
85,522, an all-time Beaver Stadium record. Second down and 5. Pitt at their own 13. McCall, nowhere. Drive the inside handoff to McCall. He is stopped by Scott Radisick and the Penn State defensive line to bring up third down and a long 4 yards to go. And again, it is crucial for Penn State here because they would force Pitt to punt into that wind, which is about 20, 25 miles an hour now.
In addition, they got the wind in their face, and they don't know if Marino can throw the ball because he got, popped pretty good. I'd go after him.
Well, let's see what Pitt does here. They need the first down to help run out some time in this third quarter with the wind disadvantage. Thomas tries to get outside. Here comes the defense. He's hit and dropped for a loss. Back at the 10-yard line. Dan Biondi and Mark Robinson low bridge him. And that'll bring up a fourth down and long.
That's the way you're supposed to defend it. They strung it out, allowed the cornerback Biondi come up, make the tackle. He makes a great play. This is the same play that they ran on the first down. It's a pitch sweep to the twin receiver side. Thomas is trying to make a cut. He can't. Biondi's rotated up from his cornerback, makes a great play.
Recchia, standing in his end zone, will get it away from the 3. The return is on. Tough kick against the wind. Bow will let it go. And the ball will roll dead at the Pitt 43-yard line. So the kick is a 33-yard kick. Not bad under the circumstances, but Penn State will have excellent field position at the Pitt 43-yard line.
And they gained 17 yards in that exchange of punts. Very significant.
Well, the fans, maybe the announcers get impatient, but at this time, with the wind being the factor that it is and so often is in this Pitt-Penn State game, you're kind of playing a chess match. You can gain 17 yards on possession. Here come the Nittany Lions. First down and 10 at the Pitt 43, trailing 7-3. Kenny Jackson coming in motion near side. Warner gets to the 40. He's run out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Troy Hill makes the tackle. The gain will be 3 for Kurt Warner. So that gives him 77 on the day. Well, maybe they're going to give him 4. This may be the 1,000.
Okay, there's that pitch sweep. Jackson comes in motion to help out as a blocker. He gets to the corner, but the sidelines.
Joe Paterno pacing nervously. The gain is 4. Kurt Warner goes over the 1,000-yard mark for the second straight year. Second down and 6. Blackledge. He's got room to run. 35, 30, and he's down. At the 30-yard line, near the 29. It'll give Penn State a first down. The gain is 10 and a first.
And that's important. He's had that all day long. At this place, where you're that close to the goal line, if he sees no receivers, everybody's covered, he's got to put the ball away and make something happen. Let's take a look. Now, Pitt only rushes 3, 4 people. He's got all day, but he can't find a receiver.